Hi and welcome back to PG Maybe's YouTube channel. I'm going to do another commander deck and I'm going to do my dinosaur deck. So we'll start straight off and I'll try and fly through it. Commander is Zacama, Primal Calamity. It's 6, a red, a green and a white, and it gives you a 9/9 vigilance, trample and reach. When it enters a battlefield it untaps all your lands, and for its abilities are 2 in a red, does 3 damage to a creature, 2 in a green, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and 2 in a white, gain 3 life. 2 other legendaries I have in this deck are Italy, Primal Storm. It's 4 and 2 red. It gives you a 6/6, and when it attacks it exiles the top card from each player's library, and you can play any non-land cards without paying their mana cost exiled that way. And the last one is Galta, Primal Hunger. It's 10 and 2 green. It gives you a 12/12 with trample, and it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. So in effect you can get a 12/12 trample out for 2 green if you play it at the right time. So that's the legendaries. Some of the mechanics in this deck, I've got a couple that are Ascend. So I've got Wayward Swordtooth, which is 2 and a green, and it gives you a 5/5, and when it's on the battlefield you can play an additional land each turn, and it can't attack or block unless you have the City's Blessing. And the other one we Ascend is Snubhorn Sentry. It's 1 white for a 0/3, and if you've got the City's Blessing it gets a +3/+0. So that's a 2 for Ascend. One of the other mechanics I've got in it is Enrage, and this is probably the most cards for one mechanic in this deck. And the enraged ones are Snapping Sailback for 4 and a green, gives you a 4/4. It has flash, and its enrage is you put if it's dealt damage you put a +1/+1 counter on it. The next one is Needletooth Raptor, 3 and a red, gives you a 2/2. And its enrage is if it's dealt damage it deals 5 damage to target creature an opponent controls. And then you've got Bellowing Eosaur. It's 5 and a white, it gives you a 3/5, and its enrage is if it's dealt damage you put a +1/+1 on each other creature you control. Then you've got Frilled Deathspitter, 2 and a red, gives you a 3/2. Its enrage is if it's dealt damage it deals 2 damage to target opponent. Then you've got Silverclad Ferocidon, pardon me for that one, and it's 5 and 2 red, gives you an 8/5, and its enrage is if it's dealt damage each opponent sacrifices a permanent. Then Sun Crowned Hunter, it is 4 and 2 red, gives you a 5/4, and its enrage is if it's dealt damage it does 3 damage to target opponent. Then you've got Imperial Ceratops, 4 and a white, and its enrage is if it's dealt damage you gain 2 life, and it's a 3/5. Next one is Sagehorn Ceratops, which is a green and a white, and it's a 2/2, and when it's dealt damage you put a 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And Ravenous Daggertooth, it's 2 and a green, gives you a 3/2, and its enrage is if it's dealt damage you gain 2 life. And Overgrown Amasaur, it's 3 and 2 green, and it's a 4/4, and its enrage is if it's dealt damage you put a 1/1 Sapperling. So that's the enrage. I'll go through the other ones that are battle, entry effects or attack effects. And this is Crested Herdcaller, which is 3 and 2 green, gives you a 3/3, and it's trample, but when it enters a battlefield you put a 3/3 dinosaur token with trample on as well. Next one is Raging Swordtooth. It's 3 a red and a green, gives you a 5/5, and it's got trample, and when it enters a battlefield it deals 1 damage to each other creature. Next one is Verdant Sun's Avatar for 5 and 2 green, and it gives you a 5/5, and when it or another creature enters a battlefield under your control you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Then you got Death Gorge Savager, 2 and a green, gives you a 3/2, and when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile target card from a graveyard. If it's a creature card, you can gain 2 life. If it's a non-creature card, it gets a +1/+1 until the end of turn. Then Imperial Aerosaur, it's a 3/3 flying for 3 and a white. When it enters the battlefield or another creature gets a +1/+1 and gains flying until the end of turn. And then you got Rampaging Thresodon, it's a 2 and a red, gives you a 3/3. It has menace. Players can't gain life, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. Ideal against somebody that's playing a lot of token decks. And then you got Majestic Heliopterus, it's 3 and a white for a 2/2 flying, and when it attacks, target dinosaur gains flight until the end of turn. Then you've got Charging Tuscadon, 3 and 2 red, gives you a 4/4 with trample, and if it would deal combat damage to a player, it deals double that damage to a player. And Raging Regisaur for 2, a red and a green, gives you a 4/4, and whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target player. There is most of my deck's dinosaurs, there's only 4 that are non and are human and they're dinosaur related, but I'll get to them after I finish the rest of the dinosaurs. These ones are Thrash of Raptors, 3 and a red for a 3/3, and as long as you control another dinosaur, it gets a +2/+0 and has trample. Stampeding Horncrest is 4 and a red, gives you a 4/4, and it has haste as long as you control another dinosaur. And Suncrested Pterodon for 4 and a white, and it gives you a 2/5 with flying, and it has vigilance as long as you control another dinosaur. The next ones are very generic, they're either got no abilities or they're mana abilities. So Steadfast Amasaur for 3 and a white gives you a 2/3 with vigilance, and for 1 and a white, tap it, it deals damage equal to its toughness to target creature blocking or blocked by it. Then you've got Thrashing Brontodon, is 1 and 2 green for a 3/4, and for 1 colourless you can sacrifice it and destroy artifact or enchantment. Relentless Raptor for a red and a white, it's a 3/3 with vigilance, and it attacks or blocks each combat if able. Then you've got Spike-tailed Ceratops for 4 and a green for a 4/4, and it can block an additional creature each turn. Then you've got Charging Monstersaur, it's 4 and a red, and it's a 5/5 trample and haste. Then you've got Grazing Whiptail for 2 and 2 greens, gives you a 3/4 reach, and that's it. Then you've got Oraska Raptor, it's 2 and 2 red for a 3/4, no other effects. And Raptor Companion for 1 and a white for a 3/1, no other companion, no other abilities. Right, the only 4 non-dinosaur creatures are all human. So you got Talonali's Knight for 1 and a red, gives you a 2/2, and when it attacks, if you control another dinosaur, it gets a +1/+1 till the end of turn. Then you've got Knight of the Stampede for 3 and a green, it's a 2/4, and dinosaur spells cost 2 less to cast. Then you've got Kinjali's Collar for a white, it gives you a 0/3, and dinosaur spells cost 1 less to cast. Then you've got Otepec Huntmaster for 1 and a red, gives you a 1/2, and dinosaur spells cost 1 less to cast, and to tap it, target dinosaur gains haste until the end of turn. So that's the creatures. It's a very dinosaur centric deck. So we'll look at the spells. 4 sorcery spells, and you've got Commune with Dinosaurs, it costs 1 green, and you look at the top 5 cards in your library, you can reveal a dinosaur or a land card from among them and put them into your hand, the rest at the bottom of your library. Then you've got Cultivate, it's 2 and a green, and you can search your library for up to 2 basic lands. One in the goes out to the battlefield, one goes into your hand. Then Savage Stomp, it's 2 and a green, and it costs 2 less to cast if it's targeting a dinosaur. And you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then that creature fights an opponent's creature. Then you've got Relentless Assault for 2 and 2 red, and untap all creatures that attack this turn. You get another after the main phase. There is an additional combat phase and additional main phase. So if you've got a lot of dinosaurs out, attack with them, just play that, redo it. Instants, there's only 3. You've got Crash the Ramparts, it costs 2 and a green, and target creature gets a +3/+3 and gains trample until the end of turn. Then you've got Ride Down, it's red and a white, and destroy target blocking creature. The creature that was blocked by this creature gains trample until the end of turn. Then you've got Dinosaur Stampede, 2 and a red, attacking creatures get a +2/+0 until the end of turn, and dinosaurs you control gain trample. So next ones are Enchantment Auras. I've got 2, and this is just for land. So you've got New Horizon, enchant land, and when it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control, and the enchanted land is add 2 mana of any one colour. And the other one is Gift of Paradise, it's 2 and a green, and it's an enchant land again, but when it enters the battlefield you gain 3 life, and the enchanted land has add 2 mana of any one colour. Enchantments are Rhythm of the Wild for 1, a red and a green, and creatures spells can't be countered, and non-token creatures you control have Riot. Then you've got Cindervines for a red and a green, and whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Cindervine deals 1 damage to that player, and for 1 you can sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Cindervine deals 2 damage to that parent's controller. Then you've got Guardian Project, 3 and a green, and whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name which commander it won't have, you can draw a card. Then the last one is Leyline of Combustion, 2 and 2 red, and if it's in your opening hand you can put it on the battlefield, and if you or at least one of your permanents you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, it deals 2 damage to that player. So we'll go on to the artifacts next. I've only got 1 legendary artifact, which is Oketras Monument. White spells cost 1 less to cast, and whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 white warrior with vigilance, and that costs 3. The rest of them are mostly mana related. I've got a couple that aren't mana related, but I'll deal with them at the end. So mana related is Mana Geode for 3. You can scry when it enters, and it adds 1 colour of any colour. You go Manalith for 3, add 1 mana of any colour. Commander's Sphere for 3, add 1 mana of any of your commander's identity, and you can sacrifice it and draw a card if you need to. Pillar of Origins for 2, you choose a creature type, it will be dinosaurs, and you add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool and spend it only for that creature. Then you've got Boris Signet, it's for 1, it costs 2, and for 1 you can add a red and a white. You've got Gruul Signet, for it costs 2, and for 1 it can add a red or a green. Then you've got Gruul's Locket, it's for 3, you can add a red or a green, and for 4 red or green you can sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. You've got Boris Locket for 3, and it adds a red or a white, and for 4 red or white you can sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. And Celestine's Locket for 3 gives you a green and a white, and for 4 green white you can sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. Then you've got Vanquisher's Banner for 5, and when it enters the battlefield you choose a creature type, dinosaur again. creatures you control get a +1/+1 of that type, and whenever you cast a creature spell of that chosen type, you draw a card. So card draw. And the last two are Soul Ring, which is which is one, gives you 2 colours. Everybody knows what Soul Ring is. And the last one is Life Crafter's Beastery for 3. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1, and whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay a green, and if you do, you can draw a card. So that's the main deck. I've got 35 lands here, so we'll look at them. Non-standard lands are Boris Garrison. It enters tapped and it gives you a red and a white, and you have to return a land to your hand. You've got Gruul's Turf, and it gives you a red and a green. Same again, it enters tapped and you have to return a land to your hand. Then you've got Boris Guildgate. It enters tapped and it gives you a red or a white. You've got Timber Gorge. It enters tapped and it gives you a red or a green. You've got Sun Petal Grove. It enters tapped unless you control a forest or a plain. It can add a forest or a plain to your deck. Gruul Guildgate. It enters tapped and gives you a red or a green. Selesny's Guildgate. Enters tapped and gives you a green or a white. Blossoming Sands. It enters tapped, you gain 1 life and it gives you a green or a white. And Rugged Highlands. It enters tapped, you gain 1 life and you get a red or a green. Basic lands is 5 plains, 10 forest, and 11 mountains. That's the deck. Any advice on upgrades? Anything needs to be taken out? Anything needs to be swapped over? Please leave a comment. Feel free to actually criticise it. If we don't criticise, we can't get better. And if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. The next video I'll do, I'm hoping to have a load of Zendikar Rising. I've got a booster box coming, I've got a pre-release coming, I've got a bundle coming, and I've got, is it the themed booster box coming as well. So I hope to do 4 videos out of that. I don't want to just do one opening a lot, so I'm going to do a few box openings. Start with the pre-release. Hopefully she get them next week, and hopefully can do one beginning of October to do the pre-release. So fingers crossed they arrive quickly and can get it done. Any advice on the deck, please feel free to comment, and if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and please remember, I'm not old, I'm classic. PJ Maybe out.